How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. I am your host, Richie, here with my guy, Mr. Richard Dorney, out in Long Island. Feeling good after that Knicks victory. Dante DiVincenzo playing hero. Shades of Larry Johnson. It was pretty damn cool.
Shades of the real Slim Shady.
That's awesome, bro. I couldn't believe they stole that game. And then when you texted me with 13.1 left, I was like, bro, I'm not convinced that they're not going to find a way to screw this up because it was so uncomfortably weird the way that they blew that 8-point lead quickly. I feel that Tibbs should have kept Brunson on the bench, ran with the bench. I think we would have ran him out of the gym. But, Brunson, he'll snap out of it. He's been a killer on the road. But Dorney's segment here is going to be predominantly about baseball trivia, something that he suggested to me that I think is a pretty damn cool idea. Not really sure how he's going to come at me, and that kind of makes it a fun show.
Yeah, so I saw this thing floating around the internet that FanDuel put out about each MLB team's GOAT. I tried to look up what if there was some kind of metrics or just their kind of guys in the office putting it together, and it seems more or less that's what it was. So I have it up here in front of me, and I thought if I gave you the name of the team, you could tell me what they put down as that team's GOAT, obviously greatest player of all time, and then
Awesome.
we can discuss what you think about it.
Awesome. This sounds like fun, bro. What's up, Chris? Thanks for joining. Go ahead, Rich.
So your first team, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Who do you think they have up here?
As the GOAT of the Diamondbacks, I mean, I'm sure Red Sox fans would say Luis Gonzalez. I'm going to go. This is so random because he's like the obvious answer because he's the most important moment of their franchise. That broken bat hit over Mo. But it's too easy to say it's him. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to go Randy Johnson because they have such a short history in the grand scheme of things.
You are correct.
Okay.
I think I'm okay with that answer. I think that's a pretty solid.
No, Chris apparently seconds my view there. Chris said Randy Johnson. All right. Oh, he got the notebook out.
Right. I want to keep score. I want to see how many of these you get right.
To my friends, I've known this guy pretty much since we had baby teeth. He never brought a notebook like that to school.
All right. This might be an easy one also. What about the Atlanta Braves?
Henry Aaron. Gotta be.
That's correct. And I don't think that there's any arguing that. I mean, there have been some great Braves, late 90s pitching staff, Chipper, but I don't think anybody's important as Hammer and Hank. What about the Baltimore Orioles?
Baltimore Orioles, Cal Ripken Jr.
We're on a tear here, 3 for 3. Your beloved Boston Red Sox?
Ted Williams.
Teddy fucking Williams. The Cubbies?
Ernie Banks.
Ernie Banks. So far, 5 in, I don't have any issues.
Am I really riding on this?
Yeah. And I don't have any issues with any of these guys. I think looking at, there are a few on here that we're probably going to talk about, but I think the first 5 pretty spot on.
Damn, I'm a little surprised. I'm not awake that much yet.
How about we go to the south side of Chicago now and
all right,
the White Sox.
The big hurt Frank Thomas?
You are 6 for 6. Let's move over to the Cincinnati Reds.
Barry Larkin?
Pete Rose.
See, I was going to say Rose, but I was a little concerned because of the gambling thing if they were going to include him.
I think you could go a couple of different ways, right? You have one of the best catchers of all time to play Cincinnati, Barry Larkin, then also. But I think Pete Rose being the hit king is probably and if you take the source, right, I don't know that FanDuel is probably the most
No, but it's cool though. This is fun nonetheless. I mean, shoot, I'll take what am I 5 for 6 right now?
You're 6 for 7.
6 for 7. Yeah, I mean, I would have said Rose, but I think because of the gambling thing, I wouldn't know if they were trying to make him excluded, especially since it is gambling. So shit.
Yeah, well, that's what I also. So, not to go off on a tangent, but I think for Major League Baseball to be so ingrained with sports gambling now and keep Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame is a joke. And I don't know if you saw my social media post.
It was pretty damn funny. And
not in the baseball saying, "I wish I had an interpreter."
Yeah, Pete Rose is a funny dude, and not to mention, to piggyback off of another thing that has to do with pure hypocrisy is the Field of Dreams game a couple of years back that the White Sox and Yanks had. You're celebrating the movie. You're celebrating something that's quite beautiful because it's a beautiful movie. But my thing is like, but you're still not letting Shoeless Joe into your Hall of Fame. You know what I mean, dude?
I get it. All right. How about I guess this guy would have been a Cleveland Indian, but the Cleveland Guardians. Before you answer, I'll give you not a hint, but just the thing. It's not always a name that comes up unless you're a Cleveland guy or we're doing something like this.
Yeah, which is what I was a little fearful of. I have a feeling this might have been before my time where I wouldn't grab it. I'm gonna say that I don't have the right answer on this one.
It's Bob Feller.
Damn it. Okay.
Which, I mean, I know his importance, and I just don't think that's a name that always gets top of mind when people are talking baseball greats. How about the Colorado Rockies?
Dare I say Todd Helton?
You are correct.
Okay.
I mean, who else would it be? Larry Walker or
Matt Holliday?
Or I should have never gone to Canada. Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah, Tulo could have been an option if you think about it. But yeah, okay. Still kind of riding high in the 90 percentile range.
I mean, Helton's in the Hall of Fame now. I think that's probably the way to go. How about the Detroit Tigers?
Miggy.
Yep.
You know what? I was going through my Rolodex of old school guys, and then I parked at Miggy. I said, I still think it's Miggy.
I thought about that also. So far, not really any kind of arguments on my side. I mean, Cabrera on any other team, well, not any other team. There are probably a few other teams where Cabrera wouldn't have been the main guy, but I think with Detroit, his career speaks to it.
Yeah.
How about the Houston Astros?
Oh boy. Nolan Ryan.
Ryan, you said?
Mm-hmm.
They have Jeff Bagwell down here.
He probably would have been my second or third choice.
So I think Nolan Ryan's a hard guy for this list just based off of that he played
a lot of different team affiliation.
5 different teams. Yeah.
Starting with your team and then moving around the league. Yeah, for sure. All right. That's enough. I'm okay with that.
Angels, Texas Rangers.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
How about KC?
George Pratt. Bam, I got that. First baseball glove I ever owned in Little League.
The California Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Don't be blinded by all the nicknames. Mike Trout would be the easy answer since this is based on a newer website, right?
That's the answer.
Okay.
That's probably the answer.
All right.
Dem Bums,
Oh,
Los
right.
Angeles
That
Dodgers.
that is super historic franchise. Personally, I want to say Jackie Robinson because of his impact, but I don't know if that's my final answer. So I'm going to think about this for Sandy Koufax.
Koufax.
But if it was me, I would say Jackie Robinson because of everything he went through.
Yeah, I think that this was probably my first one where I was like, come on now.
Yeah, you got to
I
give
don't
it to
know how you
Jackie.
don't have
He's
Jackie
retired by
Robinson.
every franchise, and he made an impact in the world, not just the diamond.
I mean, maybe the argument is that he's MLB's GOAT versus the team itself.
That's reasonable because you do see scenarios like that too. Like say a number 3 and number 4 that played for the Yankees. That's a good analogy.
So the next one is going to be one which we're going to laugh about before we talk about the answer, because when you think of the Florida, now Miami Marlins, right, historically, they trade away their players.
Oh no, I have a bad feeling that I know who this is
Maybe
going
he
to
would
be.
have been there if he would have still been there, right?
A lot of guys would have still been, yeah.
A lot of
And then you have greatness that tragically life was lost in Jose Fernandez too. I know where I'm going.
Who is it?
Giancarlo. Don't call me Mike Stanton.
Come on.
I mean,
his career doesn't even compare to the guy that I'm about to drop it on you.
It's not Dontrelle Willis and it's not Josh Beckett.
It is not the D Train. It's not Josh Beckett. So here's when I sat and thought about it. I'm like, you know what? This actually makes sense. And when I say his name, you're gonna be like, oh.
I feel like this is going to be something that's going to really crack me up.
Played for the Red Sox at the last part of his career.
And it wasn't Josh Beckett.
Wasn't Josh Beckett.
Man, I'm drawing a blank right now.
And I would tell you, he probably was one of those guys, that old adage, better to burn out than fade away, because I think he kind of faded away at the end. He also completely changed as a player. In the beginning, he was kind of wiry and skinny and super fast and stole a lot of bags. And then at the end of his career, got a little beefy, was hitting bombs.
Bro, I am drawing a blank here.
Hanram.
Wow.
Hanley Ramirez.
I'll be honest, I would have been here for another 30 minutes. I literally forgot.
You kind of forget about him, right? Because he wasn't really an over-the-top obnoxious guy. You don't remember him from the right reason. You remember him from the wrong reasons. But when you put him in the context of a Marlins, a Florida player,
this is fun, bro. I'm enjoying this. This is cool.
He's
jogging back my memory and reminding me of things too. This is pretty cool.
So you're 10 for 15 halfway through. How about the Milwaukee Brewers?
I think I would go Robin Yount there.
You would be correct.
All right. American League days. This is when they still played in the AL East, when we had less divisions. Yes. County Stadium, Vaughn's Valley.
How about...
Shout out John Olsen.
The Twin Cities, Minnesota Twins.
You could give two answers and neither one would be wrong. I want to say Kirby Puckett, but I'm going to say Harmon Killebrew.
According to this list, both of those are incorrect.
What?
In the words of Adam Sandler and Hall of Famer Rod Carew.
All right.
The next one shouldn't even be a conversation. I should say the name of the team, and you should blurt it out thereafter. My beloved New York Mets.
Oh, that's way too easy. George Thomas Siebert.
Correct. And then
I have a statue of the guy.
The crosstown rivals in the Bronx.
I'm a huge Yankee fan, and what makes this funny is it's not as easy as it sounds.
So I would take off your Yankee hat and place yourself in another state looking at the Yankees. Who are those folks going to say?
Lou Gehrig. Is it the Bambino?
It's the Bambino.
I had this conversation literally last night with some of my guys, and I kept saying, well, Babe Ruth wasn't a career Yankee. and that's what I would hold against him. And then, you have guys like Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio who were like synonymous with not just baseball, pop culture. I'm actually not upset that I didn't get that right, because you can make a case for the Iron Horse because of the streak that ultimately Cal Ripken Jr. broke.
Yeah, of course. I think it's
not to mention that there's literally a sickness named after this man, which is very debilitating, and not a lot of the population is affected compared to other terrible things.
I think you would have seen that coming, huh?
Yeah, like the Bambino. Well, how about the rest of everyone else? Yeah, you're right. You're right, Rich. You're right.
I don't know. The soon-to-be maybe Vegas, Sacramento Athletics. If you think about it, it's pretty easy.
It's not Dave Stewart, even though he was great. It's not Mark McGwire, even though he's great. It's not Jose Canseco, even though he's great. It's not. It could be Reggie Jackson. It could be Ricky. No, Ricky Henderson.
It's Ricky.
Okay.
So I just saw this really awesome clip floating around on the internet. Harold Baines talking about the year that he went down, that Ricky went down, and Baines won the stolen bag record for the season. Did you see that?
That was against us.
Yeah, did you see the video of him talking about it though?
I did not see the video, no.
So in typical, by the way, I actually very much hate Ricky Henderson. A lot of rules baseball changed.
Well, he's played for both our teams, and I think we could both be very critical of him.
Yeah, well, he actually, if you look at the body of work, and if you ever listen to any of his teammates, he never played for any team. He played for himself and stole bags when teams were, they were up 14-2, and he's stealing bags in the eighth, and a lot of rules changed, defensive indifference, things like that. Kind of got more pressure on it based off of what he was doing. But this is pretty funny because just to further show you how cocky he was and how into himself he was, he referred to himself in third person. So when he called Harold Baines and he picked up the phone, he's like, "Is Ricky here?" And whatever he got like 60 something was here. He's like, "Ricky would have had 55 at the break," and then just hung up the phone. And I just thought it was funny.
Well, it was a big turnoff in the Bronx. Part of the reason why they moved on from him, and those were very talented Yankee lineups, but the pitching was terrible. You had Mattingly, you had Winfield, you had Ricky Henderson. They had some hitters on those teams, but unfortunately, they didn't have the proper pitching. I want to give you some grace here, Rich. Your '86 Mets came up in conversation yesterday amongst me and some of the guys, and I talked to my buddy Corey about how I hate that Mattingly never got to the postseason and won anything. Like, he only 95, 94 stripe, da-da-da-da-da. So we revisited the 80s and talked about how in 1986 they may have been a wild card. And I said like this: we may have possibly played the Mets. But I told him, I said, things happen for a reason. Do you think I would have been able to deal with Dorney for 14 years before we got revenge?
Yeah.
Because we were not beating the '86 Mets that year. I gotta be honest around here. I don't just realize I'm not like one of those a-holes that's like 27. No, bro, 5. And I'm very proud of each and every one of them.
So on to the next team. Fuck Philly.
Okay, the Philadelphia Phillies. It's got to be Mike Schmidt.
Yeah.
A guy that I actually don't hate, like, because he's older school. Like, if that was a Chase Utley or quite a few other players, I think I'd be a little more opinionated.
There's nobody I hate more in this world than Chase Utley.
I'm well aware.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Willie Stargell. No, Roberto Clemente.
You got to go back further than that.
Further than those two? I want to pull a quote out of the Bronx Tale, even if it means I'm wrong, just because it's funny. Bill Mazeroski, he made Mickey Mantle cry.
Honus Wagner.
Holy shit. Okay. Damn it, Rich.
I think the rest of this list gets pretty easy now. So, San Diego Padres.
Tony Gwynn.
I mean, the guy's name is Padre. It doesn't, and deservingly so. San Francisco Giants.
God, no. Wait a minute. They're family members. I was about to say Barry Bonds. I'm going to say Willie Mays.
They have Bonds down on here.
Come on, guys. What's wrong with this institution? Gotta be Mays. Dude, the Mets retired Mays. Come on.
Oh, that's because that was more of
a promise made.
That was more of an honor to Joan Payson as much as it was to Willie Mays, because she wanted it done and they did it to honor her.
I'm okay with it, and I'll tell you why. You have two teams that currently play on the West Coast that used to play on the East Coast that were rivals and still are rivals, and those colors protrude into a Met uniform now. And the thing is, bottom line, and I'm not being a wise ass when I say this, Willie Mays was just as much a New York sports icon as he was a West Coast sports icon, and he deserves to be retired somewhere.
Sure.
And that somewhere belongs with the National League representative, which is the New York Mets.
And I agree.
Now, having said that, if we're hammered at the next Yankee game playing the Mets, I never said that. You'll be like, the internet never loses, and you'll like show it to like our section, and
you gotta tell them about your track record at the Mets Yankees games. It's pretty good.
Buddy, I must admit that while I have a very impressive record with my New York Yankees, I think lifetime games with you and just other games that my old man took me to, I think I have a pathetic record of like 3-8 or 3-9. Yeah, very uncomfortable with that.
Nothing will top the 3 home run Lindor game.
I would say prior to that, the bigger Mahoning prior to that was when Mike Piazza took Roger Clemens deep twice at a game that I was at.
That's a famous game.
Yeah,
All right. The Seattle Mariners.
Is it Ichiro or is it Ken Griffey Jr.? It's Ken Griffey Jr.
It's Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah, 100%.
The only other option would be Frost Tip A-Rod.
So this is one that I think people could argue either way, but St. Louis Cardinals.
Gotta go Albert Pujols, but you can make the case for Bob Gibson.
I think that would be in that mix, yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever heard the Bob Gibson post about his retirement, his post-retirement at an Old Timers game?
Yeah.
I probably told you this, where he had the little book with all the players that showed him up, and he would, cross them off as he would plunk them. He had one guy whose name I can't remember, who the only significance he has in Major League Baseball history is this story.
So he showed up with like a notebook like you got over there.
Yes, except much smaller, I'm sure.
I bet you he took his notebook to school, though.
Yeah. But you still can't spell school.
SKOOL, bro.
But the Tampa Bay Rays.
You were so DUM. Go ahead. Tampa Bay Rays. Gotta go Evan Longoria there.
You are correct.
Yeah.
The Toronto Blue Jays.
Toronto Blue Jays. I might be wrong, but I don't care. It's what I think. Roy Halladay.
Correct.
Very good. May he rest in peace. Hell of a talent.
Maybe, except for a few on here, this may be what seems to be the in vogue term of recency bias with a lot of these players. But
indeed.
And for the final, Washington Nationals.
We did it quick. Washington Nationals. No way. It's Bryce Harper?
No.
It's not Juan Soto.
Mad Max.
I'm okay with that. Because I will always associate Max as a Tiger first, so that kind of won over me a little.
He wasn't there that long.
He did have an impact, though.
I think you got 19 correct.
That's not good enough.
Yeah. Some of them are a little wonky. I think, especially teams with history like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Cardinals, even.
Well, yeah. I mean, dude, I'm a lifelong Yankee fan. And I always tell people this. Like, when you talk about the Yankee GOAT, it's like, what do you value? if you value winning, Yogi has more rings. That he's like in the same realm of like what Bill Russell was to basketball. And then obviously Babe Ruth was the biggest name of that era, and then Lou Gehrig, greatest first baseman in the history of baseball, probably. And then you got, Joe DiMaggio. I mean, they even dropped his name in a timeless song. And Mickey Mantle, as you can see right behind me, always and forever enjoying the Jim Beam.
Yeah.
Now, Mickey Mantle was a sensational talent. Switch hitter. That magical 61 season came to the silver screen. Pretty damn awesome. Yeah, I love baseball history movies. I don't care who the subject is. Most of the time, they get it right. Rich, before I let you get out of here, I know you got to go soon, and I should go soon too as well. Jamal Murray, Dante DiVincenzo, their heroics in those two playoff games. Start with our Knicks. What do you think?
I think for us to get further along, we're going to have to play a little bit better defense and not turn over the ball so much. And I think Jalen Brunson's going to have to, like you said, use a little bit of that road magic that he's had going. It was great to see them win those games at home. It was great to hear that crowd. I don't care what anybody says. There are only a few other places that host basketball teams that sound like that at home. So take some of that with them and go. It was not so great to see Embiid not be up to it. I'd like to have beaten Philly no matter what. I don't know if you know this, but I really hate the city of Philadelphia.
You never told me that. I can't tell you what I said on the phone in a playful way because, they might flag my channel when speaking about that city. So I'm just going to shut up.
So I'm excited for that. And you know what? The Garden is rocking. We have two teams.
I'm number two, by the way, Rich.
You are number two. She's never had to pay anything for me, so.
You're Billy Martin. I'm Derek Jeter, if we're talking about character.
So I'm excited. Listen, I think that if the Knicks can make it to the championship game, potentially against the Boston Celtics, I'll be happy with the season that we had.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to overcome that, but I didn't think they were winning last night, and they pulled it out. I will tell you, man, that Philly team's got some heart. Lowry,
I gotta give Embiid.
Years old.
Embiid has been awesome. Lowry's a Nick killer. Maxey just has that face that he's always complaining. My issue with yesterday, bud, if Thibodeau didn't put in Brunson when he did in the fourth, I believe we would have ran them out of the gym because of the momentum that the bench was giving us. I can't say enough good things about Josh Hart. Not a historical great shooter, but the kid believes in himself. He wears the right number because in that regard, he reminds me a lot of John Starks. And it's great seeing John Starks sitting courtside and just being a fan, man. He is so proud to be associated with the New York Knicks. Nothing but respect for John Starks. And, I'd love to see this team either this year or next year win it all. We do miss Julius Randle, though, and those Celtics are so freaking good. Another place that I don't have a lot of love for. But I respect them at least. I don't have that same kind of toxic hatred that I do for Philadelphia. At least I respect the Celtics.
I'm in on it. All right, my man.
Awesome. This was fun. And I'm going to tell the viewers a little bit about Zappy and how he curses LeBron before I get out of here. Rich, thank you so much for hanging. This was a really good idea of yours. And keep coming up with cool ideas like this. And we can do these little 30-minute one-offs. These are fun, man.
Yeah, I'll try and find some time between children, job, and all the things I'm responsible for.
Oh, absolutely, man. You're really being a great adult, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to grow up to be, a great adult.
Bro, I know that OTAs are voluntary, but did you even go?
No.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah, I know. You're getting ready for the draft. Please don't tell us anything. I want to be surprised.
All right, man. I'm out.
Later, buddy.
Fuck Philly.
My best friend, man. That guy's hilarious. Before I get out of here, I do want to expand on the Knicks and the Nuggets Lakers series. The the way the Lakers lost that game last night, I don't think they could emotionally recover. I could be wrong. I picked the Lakers to win that game. They didn't. And seeing Jamal Murray just like put the stake in the Lakers' heart there and seeing how they imploded down the stretch, I also think that LeBron James did not take the best shot leading up to that loss. It was really weird seeing Anthony Davis fall on the Nugget bench while they're celebrating. It was a frantic scene out in Denver. Um, Championship teams find ways to win games, and teams that are good but not quite championship level find ways to not win those kind of games. The Nuggets are right now who the Lakers used to be briefly, and that's championship. The Nuggets, even when they don't play their best game, always find a way to win. As the Knicks go, I'm going to expand on this for a moment. I have nothing but respect for Joel Embiid. Playing with a surgically repaired knee takes a lot of courage. As far as this series goes, part of the reason why Jalen Brunson's shooting percentage is so low is because they really have been able to drape over him. And the other part is he's just not shooting the ball well. You know, it's a combination of both. I give credit where it's due. I think Philly is really well coached. And I think that this series, if a few things didn't go right, we could have been down 0-2. I've already voiced my opinions on why I think they should shut down Joel Embiid and why I think it's very irresponsible for them to keep pushing him out there given the future of his career. Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, my two player of the games yesterday. DiVincenzo taking charges, just mixing it up, not letting his emotions get the best of him when I thought the Knicks got hosed on a call that kind of swayed the momentum late. They stayed the course, but I must admit, the Brunson three was flat. I feel that the rim just wanted that basketball, if that makes any sense. And the way that they were able to induce that turnover before the first DiVincenzo missed three, the Madison Square Garden is a very special place. And when you see Larry Johnson in the house and you remember his heroics, how he kind of shocked the Indiana Pacers back in '99, the many big shots that John Starks made, it's just great to see, the past meeting the present and future. There is no place like Madison Square Garden. They call it the Mecca for a reason. But I am with Dorney. There will not be any disappointment within me if the New York Knicks succumb to the Boston Celtics, whether it's 4, 5, or 6 games, or even 7. I just think the Celtics are that damn good right now. But the best team doesn't always win, and that's why we watch the playoffs. But I'm going to say this. Lakers are just about done. I'm not going to say Philly's done. I predicted Knicks in 5 going in. But if the Knicks can win game 3, I'm calling for the broom handle. Orlando Magic, I need them to show me something when they come back home. It's going to be cool for the Magic faithful to see their team back in the playoffs at home. It's been a while for the Magic. I think they have a great young nucleus. I just think that they have to go through some hits before they get to the next level. It's part of growing as a team. New York Yankees, want to hit on this quickly. Aaron Boone being ejected over a fan screaming. Hunter Wendelstedt needs to be completely responsible for this. I understand human error and balls and strikes and things of that nature. And I even understand throwing out a manager if maybe you heard a voice from the dugout that wasn't the manager's voice. I understand all that. I also understand that Aaron Boone's reputation precedes him, and that's also part of the reason he got tossed. But just like you could review if a guy's safe at one of the corners, they should be able to review something like that. But to be tossed out 5 pitches in, it was just extremely irresponsible. But I will say this on the other side, on the contrast of this. Aaron Boone has not made many friends amongst the umpires in MLB. You don't get the name Karen Boone by being well-liked around the league or by the umpires in that regard. So it's a little bit of both. It's an unfortunate situation. But I personally think that the fan who got him tossed, while I don't think that you should ever get kicked out for being a fan and being boisterous, as long as you're not saying anything that's too far. I also don't think that as a fan you should be able to infiltrate the actual game. That's why so many people hated Steve Bartman for so many years, even though, quite frankly, it was very sad. Wrong place, wrong time, so to speak. Those are my thoughts for the day. Have a great Tuesday, everyone, and hopefully an even better week. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel, Richie X Jr. Sports Podcast on YouTube. And I want you guys to most definitely make sure to check out our NFL Draft Round 1 mock previews. We did back-to-back shows over the course of a few hours, taking little intervals. A lot of work we put into that, me and Mike Zappi. We are very, very proud of what we did there. And NFL Draft is Thursday, and I am pumped for that. Enjoy your day, everyone. Shouts out to Chris Dixon for participating early. Sorry I didn't bring you on, bro. I'm just on limited time. I kind of woke up late, and I got to get out of here soon. And shouts out to Richie Dorney, man, coming up with a really, really cool idea. Richie is such a busy person, but thank you for making time for me, bro. And, I'm looking forward to getting back to New York and possibly attending Yankees and Mets with you. Until next time, I am out. Announcements to come on our next show. I will keep you guys in the loop.